Okay, are you ready? You're going to repeat after me. Ah, ah, e, mm, mm, ooh, ooh, s, s, sh, sh. Now for be a director, you're going to point out your ear and say, listen, like this. Listen. An example. Hey, listen, go put your shoes on. Listen. For be a bird dog, you're going to point out the sound and then talk more about it. So, for example, do you hear that out there? Sounds like a car beeping. Car beeping is pretty loud, huh? And here, before they see it, you're going to try to get them to think ahead. So for example, while you're reading a book, let's say Rapunzel, it would look like this. You'll never guess what happens next. He says, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair. For making listening easier, all you're going to do is lean in. So instead of me sitting here and talking like, hey, we're going to go to the car now, we're going to do, hey, we're going to go to the car now. For play-by-play, you're going to just describe what your kid is experiencing. So for example, if I'm going to put my kid down for sleep, I'm going to say, okay, now we're going to lay down in bed, put our heads on the pillows, we're going to rest right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this blanket on you, and I'm going to tuck you in so you're nice and warm while you sleep, and then I'm going to give you a kiss goodnight. That's all you would do. And it's your turn. The whole point of this is to get your kid to practice those turns taking in the conversation. I take a turn speaking, then it's your turn, and sometimes you have to respond, and then I'll talk again. And this is the good practice for it. So like example, hey, after you get in bed, what do you want to do before you go to sleep? Now your child could say, oh, I want you to read a story. And then I would respond, oh, I would love to read you a story. What kind of story would you like? And then they could tell me what book they wanted, or if they wanted me to make up a story, and then that would be their input. Now for listening sandwich, you're going to let the child listen or say what they want first, and then say it normally, like correct them normally. And then if they still don't get it, use a strategy that is covered in this video, and then have the child listen again using that strategy, and hopefully it will correct it. So, for example, a common mistake kids make in pronouncing spaghetti is spaghetti. So let's say my kid says spaghetti. I would say, hey, spaghetti? You mean spaghetti? He goes, and then if he says again, yeah, I mean spaghetti. I would say, listen, spaghetti, spaghetti. And then the kid would hopefully say it right and say spaghetti. Now, for keeping them on their toes, the whole purpose of this is to do something out of the ordinary, to see what their reaction would be and prompt them to use language. Now, let's say an example of this was, it's dinner time and I cooked soup for dinner. So, what I'm going to do is going to be like, all right, here's your plate. This is for your soup. Now, hopefully your kid at this point will be like, hey, we don't use plates for soup. Where's a bowl? That's so silly, mommy. So then I would be, oh my bad, silly me. I should have known that we were having soup and that I use a bowl for soup. My bad. And then your kid would then probably proceed to giggle. For beyond the year now, you're trying to get your kid to string more words together to make longer utterances. So let's say it's mealtime and I didn't give my kid a drink yet. And the kid goes, drink? Instead of me just giving them a drink, I will prompt them to say more. I say, oh, do you want a drink? Can you say, can I have a drink, please? What kind of drink do you want? For It's All About Me, your kid will get more excited about things that you point out if you relate them back to them. So, for example, if we're out taking a walk and we see a cat, um, like outside, like a outdoor cat, could be like, oh my gosh, that's a cat. Don't you have a cat at home? Isn't her name Winnie? Isn't your cat also gray like that one? And then hopefully it will prompt your kid to keep talking about their cat because they get excited, be like, oh, that looks just like my cat. And it will help them develop more language. For Help Me But Don't Tell Me, you're trying to get your kid to use more critical thinking and also promote their language. So, for example, if my kid is getting ready for bed and they had already brushed their hair, put their PJs on, and got showered for the night, I could be like, oh, you're almost done. You're almost ready for bed, but you have one thing left. What do you need to do? And hopefully your kid will go through the process of their normal routine and then realize, oh, I didn't brush my teeth. And your kid could respond, oh, brush my teeth. And be like, yes, very good. You need to brush your teeth before you go to bed. For What Did You Hear? The whole purpose of this is to get your kid to realize that they're responsible for listening. Instead of just hearing sounds and not processing anything, there is important information when it comes to speech. So if you're going to go through a routine, let's say, hey, we're going to get in the car, we're going to drive to grandma's, and then we're going to go in and give her a big hug because she hasn't been feeling well, and then you can go play with your toys. Now, I realized that my kid didn't process that, and or they say what, instead of me being mad and being like, you should have listened, I told you what we were going to do, you should respond, what did you hear? And possibly the kid said, get in the car and grandma's and toys. And I was responding, you're very close. I said we would get in the car, we would go to grandma's, we would give her a hug because she's not feeling good, and then you can go play with her toys. But you have to greet your grandma first.